Welcome to day 7 of 31 days of mindful meditation for the month of January. We have been in this thing for 1 week, so hand claps for all of us who have been tuned in and is starting to develop a daily practice of mindfulness and sitting with ourselves and sitting with whatever comes up through meditation. I think that is what this practice or this 31 days, my intention for the 31 days is to solidify a practice and more discipline in my practice. Because for me, I meditate all the time, but to make it a part of my daily routine has not been something I operated in, and just the lack of discipline in my self-care and tuning into myself and really just um, holding space for myself on a daily basis and pouring into myself on a daily basis have been not my strong suit. I definitely feel like I have the tools and the practices and I know what to do and how to do them when I feel overwhelmed or when I feel overstimulated or when I feel like I need to self-regulate. But this practice of discipline is so that we can do this every day and not just when we feel like we need it. And so this is in a lot of ways like maintenance of like, how do we upkeep our mind? How do we upkeep how we tune into ourselves? And so if you are new here, welcome, and I hope that this continues to be something you tune into every day for the month of January and even beyond. Like I said, this is centered around creating a daily practice. So we can go ahead and get into today's practice, which is centered and intentioned around perception, around the third eye. So each day we have been going up the chakras, and just briefly, I wanted to talk about the irony of yesterday's video. I kind of like went back and rewatched it, and you couldn't hear anything, and I didn't know that. But I left it up for anyone who comes across it who may went to it with the intention of like, okay, I'm going to meditate and set the space and set the time aside to meditate. More than likely you would still continue on that practice. And interestingly enough, yesterday was about the throat chakra, and so the fact that you didn't hear the video is funny. But I also thought, like, what if it's not intentioned around hearing my voice and hearing me guide anyone into meditation, but maybe for you to hear your own and maybe create the space for silence and stillness so that you can hear your own voice, so that you can hear your own truth. And so I left it up for that reason, because I think if we create the space for stillness, we do get to hear ourselves. We do get to hear our own truths. And so I hope whoever comes across that video, even though you can't hear anything, is still purposeful. But I just wanted to kind of give that quick disclaimer. But we could get into today's meditation, which is centered around perception in the third eye and how we perceive things. And at the beginning of my spiritual awakenings, Spirit had just like dropped this into my consciousness because I was going through a lot of awakenings and aha moments, and I felt really misunderstood. And Spirit just told me, like, people can only perceive to their level of consciousness. So when we're having a spiritual awakening, we're evolving in consciousness. And if you are surrounded, or what your reality existed like at that moment, people were at maybe a different level of consciousness. I don't want to say lower, but maybe just different. Then maybe they don't have the same perception. They're not seeing through the same lens of life. And this was probably about 4 years ago. And now I still believe that, but I would take it a step further, is that people only perceive to their level of belief. So if you believe that there's love, you'll see love. If you believe that you are abundant and abundance exists, that is the lens of life that you will see through. And so belief and consciousness, I believe, go hand in hand. So when we are expanding in our consciousness, we are expanding our belief system. We are being open to reprogramming some of the beliefs that maybe we've held on to, maybe that we've been born into. And it is simply just being open to creating a new belief, or maybe not even creating a new belief, but becoming aware of the beliefs that already exist. So today's meditation will be centered around perception, yes, but what is it that we believe? And in previous days, I believe in day 2, one of the statements I had made is that our reality shows us our beliefs. And so I want to take the time to hold the space for us to kind of review what's happening in our lives and in our reality, so that we can identify some of the beliefs that we hold on to. Okay? So whenever you're ready, get comfortable. You can do this lying down or sitting up, whichever is most comfortable for you. And just begin to tune into your breath. Tune into your inhale and your exhale. Begin to become aware of life flowing through your body. Becoming more aware of the expansion that happens when you inhale. Become aware of the release that happens in our exhale. How with each breath we have the opportunity for expansion. And with each exhale we have the opportunity to let go. And in between breaths is where we have the opportunity for awareness. Just that one moment between breaths. When we get to the top of the inhale, we have a very quick moment to become aware of what we would like to exhale, release, let go of. We have a quick moment to become aware of what's present. We have a quick moment to become aware of what we are choosing with our free will is brief. It comes quickly, but the gift is that it comes often, that we get this choice with each breath. With each cycle of our inhale and our exhale. When we become a student to the breath. When we become aware of our breath, it teaches us a lot of how we perceive life. Because our breath is one of our greatest teachers. If we can just be in the state of the observer. What can we learn by observing the breath? This is one of the greatest tools of perception because it does not take sight. It takes awareness. It takes being present in your being. We cannot see the oxygen coming into our bodies. We cannot see the oxygen releasing from our bodies, but we can feel it. We can observe it. We can become aware of it. And so perception is not all about what we see with our physical eyes. But what we can become aware of in our mind's eye, from our internal eye. And when we can go throughout life, we can start to become more aware beyond what we think we know, what we think we believe. We can create a whole new belief based off our being, based off our desire. Because our physical eyes will tell us our reality is one thing, what we feel, what we internally know in our hearts, will allow us to perceive something totally different. Our outer reality can tell us that we are unworthy, that we are not abundant, that we are not loved, that we are not cared for. But when we come into meditation, when we come back into our being, back into our heart space, what do we feel is true? Because in this space, we can feel peace. We can feel abundance. We can feel the freedom within our inhale and our exhale. And this is the truth that we can ground in. This is how we reprogram a belief. By grounding in the truth of our being. The truth of what we believe we can be. The truth of what we believe we could do. The truth of what God has ordained for us to actualize within this life. We get to solidify that here in this space. So much so that we can create it here, and our external reality will begin to mirror it. That our perception does not have to come from the outside in, but rather the inside out. That our perception starts within us. Our perception starts with what we believe to be true. This is where we can affirm who we are. Without anyone's opinions of who they think we should be. Without the world telling us who they think we should be. Right here in meditation, is how we solidify our being. By opening the space of awareness to become aware of what we truly believe. And if the belief does not align with our heart, we get to choose differently. That we get to choose to expand. That we get to choose to open a new neural pathway. That we can unblock ourselves and we can unlock the door. That we have the keys. We have the keys to perception right here. Right here in our practice of coming home to self. Right here in our practice of giving ourselves permission to expand, to become new. That we have the keys. That no one has to give them to us. No one can take them from us. Because it is internal. So in that way, no one can limit our perception. Freedom and liberation is in our perception. How we choose to see life. So may you always come back home to this practice and to this journey whenever you feel lost, whenever you feel blocked, whenever you feel limited. Come back into this space to retrieve your keys. Come back into this space to realize that you have the power and the authority to clear the pathway. Whenever you're ready, begin to wiggle your toes, your fingers. Come back to center. Come back to the awareness of your body, your space. Begin to open your eyes. And I pray that this meditation blessed you today, that you found it liberating. I pray that it expanded at least one belief. The belief that someone has to come and save you. That someone has to be the liberator of your life. I pray that in this meditation, you feel a little or a lot more synced in to the power and authority that you have over how you see life, how you perceive what is happening in and around you. And that is all for day 7 of 31 days of mindful meditation. We made it a week. I will be back tomorrow. Tomorrow will be centered around the crown chakra and knowing, tapping into our knowingness. That's all for today. I hope you guys have a beautiful day, and I will be back tomorrow. Bye for now.